Alright. It started off with the point. Just wanted to get straight to the point, you know? Anyhow, let's go ahead and start. Hey, that's good to hear. Let's make those stars go away with some pointing. Is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus? That's what she couldn't hear. Order. Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person aboard the omnibus was Mr. McGilded? That it was. Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? With a crack under the seat cushion. It was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim was collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statement are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. The victim passed may not be aboard the omnibus. That makes no sense whatsoever. This girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Sentenced her to death! That's the old lady. Yeah, Van Zeeks is doing alright. Wow, the old lady didn't say anything. She's just like, death. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. But I must say... Dang it, Grandma. I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman. I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than thulibus ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. Well, we're in trouble again, already. Jury, can you wait before giving your verdict? Hear everything. Let me cross-examine first. Well, let me finish cross-examining. Mr. Naruto, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Let's get drunk. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. Through the considerable troubles you have spared me. Oh, yeah, you gonna drink it. Let's keep changing phone. Yes, very refreshing. Ah! Yar! What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadan? This is carnage. It's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Miss Naruto, the way this is going... I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, The judge will rule, and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of the London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What do you say? Counsel! I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my education. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? He went in through the skylight. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was in there already. There's another entrance. He was put in there after he died. Wow, this is tough. Well, she was peeking out, so he couldn't have been in there already. There's another entrance. I mean, I don't think there's but two entrances, so I'm gonna have to say he was put in there after he died. That's the one that makes sense to me. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed. Probably gonna get that wrong. To frame someone is the reason why. But we'll figure it out, even if I get a mark off. But let's see what happens. Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously in your last sentence? Huh? I guess I got it wrong. Well said, Lord Van Zieks. He obviously is troubling me also. No, that's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? I think he would have... Well, I was thinking more of the lines that he came in at the same time. Yeah, I got penalized. I must be rambling more relevantly. The penalty is evidently not heavy enough, judging from those Nipponi's eyes, so I ask you again. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came inside to be the carriage. There's only two left. Either he was in there already, or there's another entrance. And yet, both of them seem inadequate. Let's just go with this one. If I get it wrong, then at least we have the right answer. Clearly, he was in there already from beforehand. Nope, so we got it wrong. Okay, so there's another entrance. What? Well, I thought maybe she got in and then he got in afterwards while they were still prepping stuff. But no, okay, so apparently there's another entrance, which he decided to enter that entrance randomly? Okay, you want to have discussions and talk about this a little bit more? Alright. At least we have the answer. Because I looked through the evidence to see if there was another way in there, and I didn't see one. That's the only reason I was thinking that last. Probably. Another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, The only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wonder what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Oops, I mean to click that. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which are allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here in the omnibus in which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? I mean, I'd have to guess the skylight, to be honest. What do you think? You think it's the skylight? I think it's the skylight. Safest bet? Alright.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It could only have been the skylight. I say the skylight. That really flips this around.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have any shred of evidence to support your addle-brain theory? Huh. That would explain why he suddenly fell. So he was killed outside the omnibus, and they dumped him through the skylight, and that's how she heard the loud bang. That's why it was so loud, too. Because he didn't fall forward out of the seat. He fell from the skylight. Okay. Okay. Both Miss McGill and Miss Lessard said the same in their testimonies. I'm thinking. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained. So, that would mean neither her or the guy is the murderer. So, I guess she's not the murderer. At least I don't think she is anymore now. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry. In fact, good gracious. Perhaps in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
Where's your glass of wine, buddy? You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. To anger? Oh, he broke it already? He broke it off camera, he was so angry. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... That's a humble fella. Make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat at the roof that testified before said none of the victim fallen through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, it is not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. It's a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason, not to mention what happened. And what, did they murder him? Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. You mean the ones who snuck that knife in the man were... Yeah, he should. He's good. But they killed him. Just what exactly are you insinuating here? You blitherer. You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating? This is a flaming outrage. I'm a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Oh wow, they definitely changed their attitude. It might just be them that murdered him. Mr. Fairplay. You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. He started bouncing. Yeah. There he goes. He's got his butt all up that guy's face right now. That's right. I protest too. About you rotten scoundrel. He's just laughing. Order. 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 This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit the wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. You think the W's an E instead? I mean, that could make sense. Look at it. I guess it would be a very weird E, but it's possible. Or maybe it's a 3, because it was 3 people. Belong to the third person. Go ahead, Lord Van Seeks. And for murder? It was the offense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to... It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. This is a very weird E indeed. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British court of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. How was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but... You can't just dismiss it without a second thought. Well, they are in the swordsman time, so he probably does wield a sword. Like, you can see him in Fire Emblem, I'd say. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. It's doing a jig. What's happening, Mr. Naruto? Spectators in the public gallery they're in complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think about this, or think this through. First fair play of the trial. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Alright, let's hear what they got to say. Disputing the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, I don't think one or the other of us would have noticed. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Let's press him first. See what my partner has to say, and then maybe check the carriage one more time and check the skylight again. I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this opening rooftop deck. Here's the kicker. What if the murder happened on a random building? The guy was stabbed, pushed off the building, and this carriage just happened to be at that perfect moment where the guy just fell through the skylight. I guess the skylight would have been broken, but still. I think they have a glass there. I didn't check to see if there was a glass there, or if it's opened. Without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see? We're innocent, I tell you. Although, logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. Put the jury at once, he fell from a building. What? Yeah? According to the investigations by the Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Yeah, how old was Van Zeeks again? 32. Looks good for 32. Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. Why do I feel so uneasy? Me too. What's the 10? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. We were the only two people up on the roof deck, dead or alive. I swear on that.
Hold it!
Oh, to the 10th power? I was thinking that. So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not. Dickin'. Okay, normally they kind of tell you when something happens. No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside their closed cabin talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? Hear me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you are engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask. Do you have any evidence at all? At all? It is all about evidence in the court these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. Unless he actually did kill him, and we're defending a, someone that should be guilty. Told you he cut his butt all on his face. I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus, at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Back to shaking. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you. We had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. It's hardly surprising. Seeing things! Yeah, it's very sus. I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. You? Even so, they keep claiming he was talking to someone. Which I'm starting to think that might be true. I'm slowly starting to think that Mr. McGilded might actually be the guilty party. And that we're actually defending someone that's supposed to be guilty. Which will be interesting. Don't take it personally now, lad. Because I know they normally never do that in Ace Attorney games. They rarely, it's only like, I only remember like maybe one time where you had to defend a guilty party. There's only one time where you had to do that. If I'm a suspect in this case, then it's only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. Thrice-Fired. Oh, Loom, no! Not once. Never. He never met the man before, he said. Never! And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers. To be perfectly honest, sir. Too nice. I mean, that was a lie. No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put this? None of us have been the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin. Uh-oh. You know something.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded? Yes, Counsel. What can I be doing for you? Or doing you for? Lewis's last statement gave you a pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It's been too long, so it has. If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon? You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, if that a touch of begrudgery is it, the sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another. Arrgh. Huh. Yeah, see now Mr. McGilded's kind of leading things. Now he's saying that he's accusing him, that Fairplay's accusing him in order to get out of his debt. Young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do me making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers. Such as Thrice-Fired Mason. There was a photograph print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. Oh, this you mean? Yeah, it seems like he's digging himself out. I can't help thinking the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh, he's wearing the hat. No. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. It would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. How you doing, hey lady? So basically, what you've missed is we've determined that the victim fell in through the skylight. That's how he got inside the cabin. So now the two guys who are on top are now being suspected of murdering him and throwing him through the skylight. And now Mr. McGilden's looking kind of fishy as he is literally pointing the fingers at these two gentlemen quite harshly. Yeah. So I honestly think Mr. McGilden might actually be the guilty party in this. The sort of customer I'd wager you'd have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctness of the goods. No, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Yeah. Well, there's really nothing more to add. Would it be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see? He's leading this whole trial right now. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. There we go. Gosh, Mr. McGilden has certainly seemed thorough in his research, hasn't he? It'd be funny if he did. Please, don't let me little interruptions hold up the proceedings. I got awarded something called Hat Hunter. Okay? I don't know what the awards do. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Did anything get added to the testimony? No, it didn't.
Hold it!
He's doing a good job. Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm gonna lose my block with you in a minute. He's gonna lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. How they used to twerk back then. Take a look for yourself. Go on. Oh, it looks to be a little latch there, though. You see? It's shut fast now. Just like it was on the night. So it is. Of course, a fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding on the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. Something broke. And you were laughing about me when I made those jokes. Shocked himself with broken wind. Well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happened. Saw the judge's face. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. He was inside. That's why he was inside the carriage. He let one rip, and he tried to open the skylight. I tried to open the skylight in order to get to air it out. But the thing is, he tried to open it from the inside. It doesn't mean it's not openable from the outside. He could have broken it. Broken the skylight. Everyone was looking daggers at me, so oh, there's other people in there too. I went as red as rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and I tried when I'm inside the cabin of shame. Oh, there was a... Oh, I missed one. I got to actually go through that again. There's an exclamation point showing that the girl had something to say. The skylight doesn't open, you say. So that proves it. 3 years in prison for it? We couldn't have kicked the victim down in the cabin below, I tell you, neither of us could. Nobody mentioned anything about kicking anyone. Like I said, these details are little nuggets at best. It's some other load we should be looking for. Alright, so I gotta go back. And go through that whole thing again.
Hold it!
Poor Mr. Fairplay. I'm sorry, Mr. Fairplay. I didn't mean to let one rip. Oh, my mouth was open too. I was biting my cane. How could you? Okay, so she had something to say after he did the whole he let wind rip thing. Broke wind loudly. That's what I'm thinking. It can be opened from the top, not the bottom. But then again, maybe there's a trick to it, because the girl had something to say. So we're about to find out. There it is.
Wait, that ain't...
Excuse me.
You have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Her name's Gina. Miss Lestrade. It opens. The skylight. That what we were talking about, right? Oh, where are you gonna shoot someone? All them skylights open, dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had posters coming out me ears. Bless these weapons of the court. It's olden times. Come pull out the gun, called it. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All 4 of them surrounded me so I couldn't hop the bus and leg it. What I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. Not judging. This judge is funny. What? Yeah, the catch for the skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open it from the cabin. Skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff! I gave him such a deep voice there. Climb up on the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. There he goes. Aha. Yeah. Oh, my hat. See? You like her hairdo? I like how her hair looks too. She looks pretty neat. I like her outfit too. Order! Though it appears the street girl's statement is quite true. Don't believe it. That light opens, and from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhito. Oh, she's been quiet for a while. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So, that light opens. I should investigate for myself. If we do, I'd call, oh shoot, I can't remember his name now. I wonder if these 2 men really were involved in some way. Couldn't say, I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. No! I'd be the guy who broke wind. I think... Try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including members of the jury. They're saying that we need to what we need now. To find conclusive piece of evidence. Kazuya. Oh, Kazuya. Oh, I do like Kazuya. Yes, Mr. Naruto, precisely. I miss Kazuya already. He ain't dead though. Okay, Mr. First. I play Mr. First. Just so I can twerk. Alright, they want us to inspect the buggy one more time. I still don't think he's dead. They did not show us a dead body. There's a ladder. The ladder. So the skylight was fastened shut before. But now the catch has been undone, we should be able to open it. Okay. Oh. Well, there's definitely proof he went through, or had something to do with the skylight. No, this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on a bitter winter nights in the cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Okay, but that's not what we're looking at. There's literally blood. Okay, we saw this before. Okay, I guess we gotta go inside because they're just like... we can't see the blood from the outside. You been on in those rides in New York? I've never been on one. I've seen the big old buses though. You like the cold feel? Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Why not to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruto? Oh, please, don't be aggressive. I love the cold. Why someone like me? For a nice coat. Ah. What is it? Look, just here, look at this. That's, without question, it's blood. What's that smell? Bleh. Why would there be bloodstain there? Mogu? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Details on the bus have been updated. The scene of the crime, there's a bloodstain visible on the frame of the skylight when it opens. Okay. Okay, so... yeah, so they can confirm he fell through. Oops. There it is.
Objection.
Yep. I made a bed of snow. I mean, I've heard of it, igloos and such. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and irrefutable proof. Remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here, in this courtroom? Counsel. My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. That's too easy. Too easy. Right there. Right there, we'll present it.
Got it!
By Jupiter! Is that blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No! No! Order! Order! Order!
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot of the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. He likes butts. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But... There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? Yeah, I don't trust him. It's not plain to see if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all lies.
Hold it!
My fellow jury members. He's too suspicious. I don't trust him. I think he's the guilty party now. I think we can all agree that there's clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can. Yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. You've said that like 5 times now. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park could have done such a thing. She was just like, die. What? What are you talking about? On 3 then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. I think Mr. McGilded's the one that did it. Oh, and what do you have referring to there now? Lord Van Zeeks? I don't know. Is no good argument? Who first? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
Oh, so he's thinking it's fabricated. What are you talking about? It's there for all to see. It's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. He could have, but who tampered with the evidence? Other than who I think it is, Mr. McGilded. So I can state with absolute certainty. Or it could have been someone that owes Mr. McGilded. Mr. McGilded does seem to have a lot of people in his pocket. No such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But, are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session. Well, the thing is, he's got no evidence that it was tampered with, but he is a, he literally has the whole police force on his backside saying that it would be tampered, and probably some documents and records. That's what it sounds like. Which, there was only one person that could have actually put the blood there in the middle of the court, and that was probably during the smoke gun. Yep, the smoke gun from Gina, or whatever her name is, Lestrade. She must have done it while she did the smoke thing. Hehe, what a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contribution to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Your smoking gun? Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. Huh. So they could be working together. Mr. McGilded and Lestrade. Both of them might actually be the guilty party. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? Excuse me, I'm not drunk enough. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your alibi to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut, Lord Van Zeeks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Huh? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. Yeah, I think we're defending the guilty party in this one. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? Where's your proof? But, if you all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the word of his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? The smoke screen. Hello? It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time that the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you ask me, I think it's possible. Well, the point is not to just get my, the victim, or not the victim. Basically, we're not just trying to get the not guilty. We're also we're trying to find the truth. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh. Well, gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. The hairpiece moves between actions? I didn't even notice. What is going on? Be careful, Miss Naruto. Cover your face! Bailiff! Don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, bigger point, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. The full viewpoint. Come on, Deeks, put your legs up. Put your, not legs, put your leg up. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull? You rotten, feckless gouger? Feckless? Gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. There's a wicked plot. There's a plot to undermine me. So it is.
Objection!
Yeah. What do you think this is? It changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. He's shaken. Inconsistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zieks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true, unless I thought he had people investigate. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty. Well, I don't know if they actually have... Yeah, I guess they would have pictures. They would have taken pictures of it. The evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling. My lord. Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you better start watching your back.
Objection!
Does it have an inkling? Silence with gilded. The court awaits the defendant's clarification. Grr. Jaw keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is the legend mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? Okay, so there's a legend mark. Is that the blood on the seat? Oh man, I'm kind of confused. I was just guessing. Yeah, the blood was there earlier. That was there earlier. The only thing I could think of is when we looked in it, there was stuff in the compartment. Now it's gone. Because they mentioned how there was just enough room. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, we're stuck inside the omnibus. We can't actually go outside, so it has to be something inside of it. And I think it's the compartment. That's what I think. mean, I can't look at them right now. The posters are about an event that's taking place. Maybe blood on the floor? I don't know. Okay, let's just look around real quick. Anything else? So we got blood on the floor, blood on the seat. 2 posters. I don't think the posters have much to do with it. Unless they changed. I can click on things, okay. The great exhibition that's due to start in 6 months from now. A lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, at least the whole exposition. So we already read that, yeah, fizzing from excitement. But I mean, why would it matter why the posters changed? Yeah, so it repeats the same thing. Yeah. Those are very impractical, aren't they? They wanted to... I'm just gonna repeat. Handle is seen. Okay, open the handle. That's blood, isn't it? Something wrong. It's just... Bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. Ah, it is the bloodstain on the floor. That seems a little strange. I have such a bad feeling about this. Go for it. If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor yeah, X-Ray called it. Yeah, I looked at the inside before, but I couldn't remember if I saw the blood on the floor or not. I thought I saw gear in the compartment, but maybe I didn't. This bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. It's almost time to stop, but we'll go just a slightly bit further. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether the evidence is genuine, or whether it is unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Arrgh! This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can cooperate with the court, but it is all over now. But you're the defendant. Tis over, I tell ye. Yeah, gotta be honest. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts. The fact is that bloodstain is there. Now. Well, and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good for nothing Reaper the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. Just insulted him. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought it better of Lord Van Zieks. Well, my lord? He angry. I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollection of an individual cannot stand as evidence. This moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence. He is. Put Gina next to him. I think Gina's part of it. I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? Prosecution, my lord. There's no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded would be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really right for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statements, please. Might be it. Yes, my lord. The defense believes... Well, the proof that we got blood on the glove, though. Knife. They sleep on it? Great cliffhanger. It is. But part of me doesn't want to forget either. Photo? Unfortunately, the photo doesn't show floor. That's what they said it was. They said it's his knife. I thought it might have been a W for the real killer. They were saying M for McGilded. Oops. Like, so let's just go just a tiny bit further, just to kind of get out of this loop. I'm here in the courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. The cliffhanger is if we find the answer, and then stop. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there's also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good. Good gracious me. Order, order. This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocent into question. Are you of sound mind? Well, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done. So you have. What do you mean? It's just as the right honorable gentleman has succinctly put it before. The trial can't go on anymore. Hey, he's firing him. In your closing statements there was, how did he put it now? Not more than formality. He's pretty much telling him to quit. He's like, don't push it anymore. I'm not guilty. Not more than formality. I really don't know what to make of all this. That's what I was thinking. The evidence we've seen genuine? But fake? His lordship would be fuming Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. Luigi? Yeah. Dick and Rich are always guilty of something, you... mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I had to kill everyone in here. I mean, that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. Yeah. He's full of power. Now that the proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. Hold up. A little bit further. What's gonna happen? Are we really gonna get the not guilty? I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection.
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. The case made of the prosecution was flawed. Plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection.
But, wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Dang, so you got away with it anyway. So far. Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. As for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me this is all being a grand waste of time? This is the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have ye? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, so we did defend the guilty party, but they still got away with it. So that's the shift. That has never happened in an Ace Attorney game so far. So at least not that I can recall. Outraged, they should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. Oh man. Almost. Courtroom and pandemonium. I think we're getting close to the save point. And went for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. First ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end. Yeah. While the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. I think since we're at the end, it should just go straight to the next segment after a few lines. That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial is foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Sasato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded? And the girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. I have you to thank, I suppose. I have an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What are you saying, fella? How'd I walk out of there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. That's just water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. Nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? They've all seen that I didn't do the odious and obstinate deed. It's grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Hey, the fine fellow of Scotland Yard can take matters in the hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get the truth. I have absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be proving a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. Not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. I'd be whist. You're humble people, aren't you? You from the East. Well, if you insist. I have this. Still in all, you deserve a reward. Dang. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. The courtroom? What's this, officer? It's sooner than I was led to believe. Oh, it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. He might be killed? Oh, jeez. Asked if I could be present for it myself. Maybe. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part of any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. This is a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. Attorney is the new defendant. Threatened him? Maybe. I could see that happening. I hope you have a whale of a time you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes. A free man. Uh-oh. Oh, gosh, she was here too. No, not again! There he goes. Oh, wait, now's my time to run. There we go. Don't move! Whereas I want to say, get a move on. It really does take forever to load that thing. Mr. Stroud, would you mind putting that thing down? You're grown up. Sorry? And I ate all grown-ups. Oh, she ate them all. Shoot, she's a cannibal. There you are. Oh, that's definitely the wrong voice. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Oh, this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? And we'll save it there, because I don't know how far they're going to go with this. Alright, so we did this long enough, an extra 23 minutes. We got the not guilty verdict. I don't know, you might be right, X-Rain. Maybe he will die and... I don't think it's going to be like that though, but it might be. Small inventor child. It might happen that way though. But right, good night everybody.